As crystal bridges in the momentary, we recognize our role as settlers and guests in the Northwest Arkansas region. We acknowledge the Caddo, Quapaw, and Osage, as well as the many indigenous caretakers of this land and water. We appreciate the enduring influence of the vibrant, diverse, and contemporary cultures of indigenous peoples. We are conscious of the role in colonization that museums have played. As cultural institutions, we have a responsibility to engage in the dismantling of historical and systemic invisibility of indigenous peoples past, present, and future. We choose to intentionally hold ourselves accountable to appropriate conversation, representation, connection, and education to facilitate a space of measurable change.
Hello, I'm Moira Anderson, and welcome to the 2020 Van Cliburn Concert Series, our digital edition. We at Crystal Bridges are delighted that you have joined us and honored to host this special experience. While the Great Hall may be empty, the music continues, just on a different stage. More than ever, we value meaningful human connection. It is in that spirit that we have created this opportunity for an uplifting and memorable encounter with exceptional pianists. In our first concert, we will be stepping into the homes of 4 prominent musicians from around the country, while in the second concert, we'll return to the Great Hall for a performance by Northwest Arkansas pianists on our beautiful Van Cliburn concert grand piano. The 4 internationally prominent musicians who will be presenting our first concert have been featured previously in our Van Cliburn concert series here in the Great Hall. Since during this time we aren't able to welcome them physically back to our region, we have matched each with a pianist who resides here in Northwest Arkansas. Together, each pair selected a repertoire from the Great American Songbook that they felt resonated with this unique moment through themes of isolation, yearning, and hope. This program is possible through the generous gifts of our contributors to the Van Cliburn Concert Series endowment: Kelly and Marty Suddeth, Reed and Marianne Greenwood, Ellis and Kay Milton, Chip and Susan Chambers, and Alice Walton. A special thanks to Robert Ginsberg of the Northwest Arkansas Jazz Society and to Tommy Smith and Steinway and Sons. We are grateful for their support of the arts and performance and their encouragement to seek new ways to expand the reach of this series. Since the Van Cliburn Concert Series began in 2016, many internationally renowned musicians perform annually on the Van Cliburn Concert Grand Piano. One memorable evening featured the master musician Ellis Marsalis. Everyone present knew they were witnessing something special. It was a performance I'll never forget. When hearing the news of his passing this year, we decided to dedicate the 2020 Van Cliburn Concert Series to his memory. Please join me in welcoming Ellis's son, Wynton Marsalis.
I'm Wynton Marsalis, the Managing and Artistic Director of Jazz at Lincoln Center. It's a great honor that Crystal Bridges has dedicated the 2020 Van Cliburn Concert Series to the memory of my father, Ellis Marsalis. My father passed away in April of this year, but he was an unparalleled educator, performer, and advocate for jazz and American culture. He was also a very deep believer and practitioner of universal humanism. His visit to Crystal Bridges was a cherished memory. He performed as part of the Van Cliburn Concert Series in December of 2017. It featured solo performances not just by him, but also the fantastic young genius Joey Alexander, who was then just 14 years old. Of course, my father loved him and encouraged him to greater artistry. I heard all about the evening. He called me to tell me everything that happened, even down to the way Joey bowed. The performance was a great opportunity for everyone to witness my father in action as a performer, but also to see the type of love and impact he had on younger generations of musicians. He was an example to all of us who were his students. And we all represent a big extended family from everywhere. He taught us how to be patient and how to embrace the joy of seriousness. He told us that You could be conscious, and you could stand your ground in your own opinion, and even stand it more firmly if it was rooted in something when everybody didn't believe in you. And he always hated for us to lump people together. If you called a person or by a group, those black people or those white people or some old people, he would say, hey, bruh, who is they? Tell me exactly who they is. And when he called you bruh, it means he was not happy with you. He would always tell me, don't tell me what somebody is, tell me who they are. Yes, he was all substance over show. And those important skills are really truly needed in this time. We find ourselves in a pivotal moment. We know this. Our commitment to our own beliefs and to our responsibilities to each other and to others are greatly, greatly challenged. We're facing this global pandemic. We have political corruption. We have racial and social injustice. They're powerful and they're too pervasive to ignore. We have to relook at our systems. We're called to stand, and we're called to make a stand. And this is our time. It's a moment for the arts, because the arts are about community and they are about action. And most of all, they're about participation on an individual level and also for communities. All of this makes me think even more deeply about my father, because he was such a fair-minded, generous man of unflinching dedication. Hearing him practice and perform, growing up with the sound of his piano, was truly a joy, even when I didn't like the style of music they were playing. But watching him across the entirety of my childhood and adult life was also a front row seat in a masterclass on what a lifelong commitment to our most sacred democratic principles could yield. And he truly was absolutely something. I know my father loved the Van Cliburn series, and he would be delighted to see the impact these virtual performances are having on a population in desperate need of the arts. We need the inspiration, we need the consciousness, we need the virtuosity, we need the uplift, and we need the thing that the arts brings, which is to bring us home and take us into our deepest self and remind us of who we are at our best. Crystal Bridges is one of America's finest cultural institutions. Its sterling collection of art leads us to contemplate our national identity with all of its beauty and its flaws. This magnificent body of work inspires us to strive for a healthier and more dynamic way of expressing our beliefs and to teach us even more how to live together harmoniously. That's truly what we need in these times, and that's what my father's music and jazz is actually about at its root. Democracy, leveling the playing field, making it able for all of us to communicate, making it possible for all of us to communicate with each other and come together. Thank you so much, Alice Walton. Thank you for your efforts on behalf of American culture. Thank you so much on your continued interest in the arts and the understanding of how the arts nourish communities. You are the founder and the chairwoman of Crystal Bridges. Fantastic idea. Let's get the word all over the world. Thank you for making the Van Cliburn series possible. We need it in these times. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for honoring the work and the life of my father, Ellis Marcellus. His work can serve as a beacon in these troubled times, and he would be so proud of this moment. Thank you for remembering him, and thank you all for watching.
Thank you, Winton. The legacy of Ellis Marsalis Jr. will always be an inspiration. In this performance, we welcome you into the Great Hall of Crystal Bridges for 3 performances by Northwest Arkansas pianists on the beautiful Van Cliburn Concert Grand Piano. Our first performance will feature Claudia Burson presenting a special piece dedicated specifically in the memory of Ellis Marsalis Jr. in a nod to his hometown of New Orleans, Louisiana. Claudia is a native of Fayetteville, Arkansas, whose love of jazz was formed at an early age. Her mastery of the piano is punctuated by her soulful style and charisma, and she is among the rare artists who have risen above technique to deliver her music from a place deep within. the perfect pairing with Afro jazz musician Arturo O'Farrell. Together, they have selected Do You Know What It Means to Miss New Orleans by Eddie DeLange and Louis Alter.
Claudia, you told me so many things about your life that were so beautiful, and the different places you came from musically. What are you going to play?
I am going to play Do You Know What It Means to Miss New Orleans?
That's such a beautiful piece of
It
music.
is. And thinking of the tribute to Ellis Marsalis, I thought that would be, appropriate for the concert.
Yeah, no, Ellis was a wonderful, wonderful educator, pianist, humanitarian. He would have been delighted to be able to see this performance. I know that for a fact.
Yes, and he was such a master of the piano.
Yeah.
His artistry still lives on through his sons. And the beginning of my piece has kind of a spiritual thing to it too. It's reminiscent of my very early beginnings in the little country church in Arkansas. I think you'll be able to hear that too.
I can't wait to hear it.
I wrote that specifically to set the tune up and for the time we're as well, important.
Yeah. Well, we're both expecting tremendous. I know we also shared that we both have a lot of hope. That we
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we shared that. We have to hang on to every little shred of that.
Yes, ma'am. This world will be a better place. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Well, thank you for letting me be a part of your life, at least for today. But hopefully,
I'm so glad.
for many, many more conversations and hugs.
Oh,
Socially distant, of course.
Well, until we don't have to be.
Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you, Arturo.
Our next performance features Tomoko Kashiwagi. A native of Japan, Tomoko now calls Fayetteville, Arkansas home and is recognized for her classical performances with the Symphony of Northwest Arkansas, the Arkansas Philharmonic Orchestra, as well as regular performances at the Kennedy Center, the Gardner Museum, and Jordan Hall in Boston. Alongside Laura Downs, Tomoko has selected 2 works by Arkansas-born composer Florence B. Price that resonate with the theme of solitude and isolation. Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, and Song Without Words.
And you, I'm excited about your choice.
I feel really rooted in Arkansas. I love living here, and great things are happening, including Crystal Bridges. And one of the composers that's been, of course, you have also recorded, and it's close to us, is Florence Price. Her being from Little Rock. We have the manuscript in U of A special collection, so it's actually at our library. So I chose one piece called Song Without Words. And it's a very short, sweet. It has this really warm feeling of longing, and that kind of happening for me right now is I'm reaching out to my friends and family a lot more than I used to, just because like you said, I crave that connection. I feel that I want to know if everybody's doing okay, if they're feeling like they're loved. So I thought this piece actually have that really nice reaching out kind of feeling. And then the other one is the spiritual arrangement by Florence Price of Nobody Knows the Trouble I See. And I think we all feel it right now.
Yeah, just, the universality, I think, of the experience. Nobody Knows the Trouble is a perfect example of that. I think all of us in this moment are feeling like this is it's our own tragedy, it's our collective tragedy, but it's so important to remember all of the struggles, that people have been through before us, and what the process of emerging from devastation looks like. So I love that. I think those are beautiful choices, and this whole thing's going to come together so beautifully.
Concluding this evening, we are leaving you with a sense of longing and love, welcoming Matt Nelson. Before moving to Fayetteville, Matt has established himself as one of Chicago's most in-demand and versatile keyboardists, from sharing the stage with musicians such as John Legend, Erykah Badu, to collaborating and touring with Grammy-nominated artist Matthew Santos and hip-hop artist Lupe Fiasco. Together with Elizabeth Joy Rowe and Greg Anderson of the Anderson and Rowe Piano Duo, they decided the ideal selection to conclude this program is Duke Ellington's In a Sentimental Mood, performed by Matt.
The piece I chose is Duke Ellington's In a Sentimental Mood. It has been one of my favorite songs from the Great American Songbook for as long as I can remember. Throughout this whole pandemic time, I found, like both of you, I found my performances all of a sudden to just stop. I was used to playing at so many different places and so many different nights, different days, being involved in so many different projects, and it all just came to a stop. And it provided me with a lot of time to get back in touch with really why I'm a musician in the first place. And so much of that is really the essence of human connection, sharing love with others. Music is the universal language, and beyond, I think, any barriers that we might have up. We're living in a time where there's so many walls up between people, and I feel like music is one of the few things that still brings everybody together. And I've also gotten so much more time with my wife, who I fall more and more in love with every day. This has been a special tune for the two of us for a long time as well. So I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you again for joining us for this special edition of the Van Cliburn Concert Series. We again thank our sponsors for their support, and thank you to Claudia, Tomoko, and Matt for this performance. And we thank you for joining us.